What is going on, my family? Your boy Demetrius is back with another classic video here. We are going to talk about Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. And practically Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls has been reviewed by IGN. They put out a beginner guide for everybody, to see, to study and observe and discuss and review themselves. And so when I got wind of it, it was pretty interesting on what was going on when it comes to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Of course, there was no new character reveals. It's Evo weekend right now, so everybody is kind of hoping that they'll reveal some new characters when it comes to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Something is kind of telling me that they won't. I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for them to actually reveal new characters when it comes to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. But when it comes to this beginner guide here, like I said, some of this stuff is pretty much common sense that we see in the fighting games, the pretty much command basics and stuff like that. But there is a lot of other unique and interesting things going on with Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. They did, however, kind of explain the whole tag team situation, if you want to call it that. It can be a little bit complicated, when it comes to Marvel Tokon, but, we're going to take a look at all of that and just go through and discuss, what's interesting, discuss, pretty much the basics and stuff like that. So when it comes to this beginner guide, it's broken up into sections. It's broken up into sections such as basic moves. It's broken up into sections such as game rules and stuff like that. So basically, every section, I'm going to let it roll. And if I see something significant, I'll stop and chime in. If not, I'll just wait until the section is over with, and then I'll come in with my take, and then I'm going to go on to the next section. So that's how we're going to do it when it comes to this Marvel Tokon beginner guide. We are going to get into it right now, and we're going to start with the basic moves, which is pretty basic, but we're going to start with that and we're going to roll. And like I said, if I see something, I'll chime in. If not, I'm just going to wait till the section over, then going to give my take. Then I'm going to start the next section. So here we go.
Basic moves. Left and right directional inputs move your character forward or backward. Upward inputs perform a jump, and downward inputs perform a crouch. Quickly tap forward twice or press the dash button to perform a dash. Quickly tap back twice or press back and the dash button to perform a back dash. Dashes and back dashes can also be performed mid-air. Input another upward direction during a jump to perform a double jump. Quickly tapping down before jumping from the ground lets you perform a high jump. You can block the opponent's attacks by inputting a back direction. Back while standing performs a standing block. Down and back performs a crouching block. And back while jumping performs an aerial block.
So that right there was the basic common sense tutorial when it comes to 2D fighting games. They teach us to move backwards, move forwards, move jump, and how to block and stuff like that. So, like I said, that's just typical on what happens in 2D fighting games. Every 2D fighting games has that tutorial. So nothing new there, just simple basic right there. So we're going to go on to the next section.
Battles are 4v4 in a 3 out of 5 round format. The 4 characters on your team share a single vital gauge. A KO is achieved by reducing the opposing team's vital gauge to 0, earning you a round win. The team who takes 3 rounds first wins the match.
Captain America speaking Japanese. Oh man, I get a kick out of these Japanese voices, but yeah, I just find that funny and interesting. You know what I'm saying? Captain America speaking Japanese. But let's continue.
The assemble gauge sits just below the vital gauge and is used for assist-related mechanics. On the bottom of the screen, you can see your skill gauge. This is needed to perform powerful skills with your lead character. The first round of a match.
So I wanted to stop it right here. So basically it showed us the skill gauge, and the skill gauge is basically, what we've been growing up with when it comes to a lot of 2D fighters, especially like Street Fighter or KOF or something like that. So the skill gauge is pretty much similar to the Street Fighter EX system, to where we can use it to enhance special moves, probably by pressing 2 buttons at the same time, and it'll enhance the special moves. So that looks pretty obvious. That's what that looks like. And then on top of that, of course, we can use that to our advantage to enhance combos that we do by basically, enhancing our special moves with the skill gauge and things like that. So I just wanted to stop that because, the skill gauge is pretty much, what we've been growing up with when it comes to a lot of these 2D fighters. The Street Fighter EX system, also pretty similar to what's going on with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves.
Match starts off in a 2v2 format. Executing a successful throw or landing certain special moves in just the right location sends the opponent flying and triggers a stage transition, reuniting you with your third and then fourth ally. Your allies also meet up with you when you slam the opponent into the stage corner or lose a round.
KO! Round 2!
When an ally meets up with you, the maximum values for your vital gauge and skill gauge also increase. Try to get your team together as fast as you can in order to reach your team's full potential.
So there they were basically showing us how to practically utilize everything correctly when it comes to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, like, how to utilize your team, how to utilize, your special moves and stuff like that, and putting it into an entire package to where you're inflicting damage on your opponent. So everything on your side will become stronger, like they show, like with the health gauge, the skill gauge. If you utilize your team correctly, set your opponents up with combos, team up combos and stuff like that, you will inflict good damage. And that's what's going to make everything else grow on your side, like the assist and all of that. And I will say this, though, Miss Marvel, she looked fun as hell, though. Like, Miss Marvel really do look fun as hell. Like, when it comes to Miss Marvel, we already know Wolverine is going to be in the game. They just need to reveal him. But if a Punisher don't make it into the game early or whatever, or if they're DLC or something like that, Miss Marvel is probably going to be a part of my team at first, man, because she does look fun. You feel what I'm saying? And to be quite honest with you, I actually like her Japanese voice. I think Miss Marvel's Japanese voice actually fits her. So yeah, Miss Marvel is looking kind of fun. I'm going to really try her out to see how she really works because she looks fun on the screen.
Crossover is a defensive technique that calls in an ally to cut in while you block. This can be executed by inputting assist and light while blocking, and is a great option to go on the offense, as it lets you interrupt the opponent's attacks. However, the opponent can counter this with their own crossover reflect. Crossover reflect can be performed by pressing assist and light during the opponent's crossover. If you execute a crossover reflect at the last moment, this becomes a perfect reflect and triggers a counterattack against the opponent and their ally. Mastering the timing to execute a perfect reflect is quite challenging, but if successful, it prevents the player from summoning assists for a duration, giving you the upper hand. This mechanic can be tough to master, but give it a shot once you get a hang of the controls.
So basically here they're showing us the crossover system and the potential that the system has if you master it. The crossover system is going to be that system where if you master this correctly, you're going to win a lot of matches and probably going to be very, very successful when it comes to tournaments. So this is the system right here I think everyone should really pay attention to. And when you lab, this is what you should lab right here. This crossover system is really going to be that system to where you're going to win a lot of matches and a lot of tournaments if mastered correctly. Now, I understand it's EVO weekend and Marvel Tokon has an exclusive showing at EVO, a hands-on where people are playing it. But unfortunately, I'm not at EVO. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the button layouts. The button layouts for the PlayStation 5. And this is where people were kind of complaining a little bit because the button layout does look a little modern. You feel what I'm saying? And it shows, you know, light attack, medium attack, heavy attack. It doesn't show light punch, light kick, or medium kick, heavier kick. It's basically kind of modern. And then you go down, it shows special attacks. Then it says assemble, quick moves, quick skill, quick assemble, quick dash, and stuff like that. So yeah, the button layout does look very modern. So here's the second image of it, of the button settings right here. You know, player 1 and player 2, they got the light, medium, heavy, assemble, unique, quick skill, quick dash, quick throw. And then you see right there where you can press 2 buttons together, like light, medium, medium, heavy, and stuff like that to probably get another special attack or a throw. You know, normally when you see that two buttons together, it's normally like a throw or something, or a tag or something like that. So yeah, it's the button layout right here. Like I said, a lot of people were kind of voicing their opinions and voicing their complaints on it. It favored modern controls of other fighting games, but we'll just have to see. Like I said, people are at Evo playing it right now, so they probably have a different feel for it than they would when it comes to other fighting games. So we'll just have to see what happens. We'll have to see the people that played the game, their opinions on it after Evo is over. But this is the control layout right here when it comes to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. So next here, we're going to look at the names of the moves list of the characters. As you can see right here, this is Captain America and Iron Man. The reason why I was so interested in this is because I just wanted to see which moves were named different and named the same from Marvel vs. Capcom. As you can see with Captain America, the names of his moves are almost completely different from Marvel vs. Capcom. But if you go down to Iron Man has some similar moves that are named the same, like the repulsor blast and stuff like that. And like I said in a previous video that I did in Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a lot of these moves that these superheroes have are actual iconic moves. Like Iron Man's repulsor blast, that is an actual move that Iron Man actually uses. So, but with Captain America, they got the freedom charge. You know, instead of naming it the charging star, they name it the freedom charge. So, you know, I think that's kind of cool. So, you know, I was just checking this out right here. It looks pretty cool, and it just makes me even more excited for more reveals when it comes to characters. But like I said, I don't think they're gonna reveal any characters at Evo when it comes to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, because, you know, they're pretty much putting all the work into the hands-on and people playing the game. So I don't think that they're gonna show any characters reveals, because if that was the case, they would have showed it first before they basically told us about the hands-on. And then on top of that, the characters would have been in the hands-on. So I don't think they're going to show any characters this weekend for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. But yeah, I just wanted to show that the button layout and then the names of the special moves and the moves list and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it when it comes to the Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls beginner guide. Like I said, the game is being played at Evo. I just wanted to get on here and just go through this whole guide, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's pretty much common sense tutorial, but it was just something cool to talk about when it came to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Of course, since I'm not at Evo and can't play the game, so it was cool to talk about it on here. So let me know what y'all think in the comments section below about the whole thing with Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, the beginner guide, the control layout. How do y'all feel about the control layout? You know, because like I said, a lot of people were complaining about that. So how do y'all feel about it? Put y'all thoughts and y'all feelings in the comment section below. We can definitely get a conversation started. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe for more of this real talk Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. I will get back at you in the next video. My name is Demetrius. I am out. Peace.